Welcome to the show, ISO Show. On a Friday, a Game 6 Knicks Celtics Friday. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for liking, subscribing, all of that stuff, commenting, whatever. Welcome to the show. Here we are, Game 6 coming up tonight in the Garden, the only Garden, 8 p.m. Knicks will look to close out the Boston Celtics and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics look to win a road game and force a Game 7 at home to try to keep their title defense and their quest at a back-to-back championship alive. But I don't think it's going to happen. I know a lot of people were, particularly as we are in New York, in Harlem, New York, as we always are. I know a lot of Knicks fans. I know a lot of people were spooked out by the Game 5 result up in Boston. Without Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics were able to take Game 5 and push the series to a Game 6. But, I mean, I don't know why everybody's freaking out. That was a result I expected, result I bet on, felt good about it. Had the first half, that didn't work out. That kind of sucked. I thought that Boston would come out a little more ferocious, but it took them a little while to get going. But they ended up closing out the game, getting a big win at home. But now I feel like the question is, was that a we still believe win, or was that a not tonight, not in our house win? Because it's those are two different horses of a different color. Because I'm still not convinced that wasn't just a not in our house, not tonight win. I don't know. I mean, Jason Tatum is just so crucial to everything the Celtics do, everything that the Celtics are, their entire identity. He's everything to that team. As good as Jaylen Brown is, as good as Derek White is, they obviously have a ton of other players who are very talented. Unfortunately for them, Kristaps Porzingis has not really been able to get going. Obviously, he's dealing with whatever illness he's dealing with. He can't breathe. So I don't think unless he somehow recovers from this illness and gets back to sort of like a prime healthy Porzingis and can contribute in that type of a way, I just don't think the Celtics will have enough. I'm not saying that they can't pull off a Game 6 win and force the Game 7 if they catch the Knicks sleeping, or if they just, come out on fire and hit those threes. But ultimately, I think the Knicks will move on, whether it's after tonight or after Game 7. I do think that they can win a Game 7 on the road. For whatever reason, this Knicks team, they don't like anything easy. They like to make it hard. They like to make it difficult. Everything they do is difficult and complicated. But I do believe that the Knicks will move on in this series. It's just a matter of when. But as far as tonight, I do think they have a good chance to win tonight. But it almost feels like it's too aligned. Friday night, pick up the win at home crowd, Game 6. I know a lot of the Knicks fans who were trying to be fake confident at the beginning of the series were saying Knicks in 6, really more just because it sounds good and it rhymes, not because it was something that they actually really believed in. But it might come true. That's the beauty of NBA playoff basketball. But it all kind of aligns for them tonight. Nice bounce back win, but we shall see. I mean, I have not yet counted the Celtics out of this game. And we'll just see. We'll see if that championship pedigree shows itself. Some of the matchups I'm going to be looking for is, I think the main reason that people shouldn't have been so shocked with the result in Game 5 was because, when you take Jason Tatum off the Celtics, obviously they're a less talented team because he is that kind of talented. But at the same time, you're already 4 games into a series. Add to that the games you played in the regular season where Jason Tatum was there, and you're used to playing a team a certain way. They're a totally different team. So whatever sort of preparation and plans and matchups and schemes and everything that you plan to do going into the series, going into that game, it all kind of goes out the window when they don't have Jason Tatum. Again, yes, they're less talented without Jason Tatum, but there is also something to the coaching and the preparation. And if you can't prepare because you don't know exactly what Joe Mazzulla's plan is going to be without Jason Tatum, you're kind of going into that game blind. So, again, that's why I wasn't shocked that the Celtics were able to win that game. But we'll see now. Is Tibbs going to make the adjustments based off of what he saw the sort of post Jason Tatum plan was from the Celtics. Will Tibbs make the adjustments, and will the Knicks execute in a way to get them this game 6 win? And if they do make adjustments, does Joe Mazzulla have a backup plan? Does he have an alternate plan as to how he came out? Obviously there was a huge Luke Cornett game. Derek White was on fire with the threes, but that I don't even know how much that has to do with Tatum being in or out. That's just kind of what Derek White does, and when he's on fire like that, they are tough to beat. But will you get that kind of Derek White performance on the road? I think that he's been in enough big games that I don't think he'll be scared of a road game, but just a different environment. And again, maybe the Knicks make adjustments. He doesn't get as many open looks, and that could be their sort of key to victory. Does Joe Mazzulla have a backup plan? Remains to be seen. How much will they get from Porzingis? How much will they get from Sam Hauser, who came back into the series in Game 5? And I know a lot of Celtics fans, when they went down 0-2, were, oh, well, we don't have Porzingis, and plus we haven't had Hauser, and he's really important. I personally don't know how important Sam Hauser is. I think that Celtics fans maybe inflate his overall importance, but we'll see. If he's healthy and he's good enough to go again in Game 6, maybe he has an impact. That's something that the Knicks have not seen throughout this entire series. He was limited in Game 5, but he did play. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not counting the Celtics out. I'm not going to sleep on the Celtics. I have respect for them as champions. I have respect for them even as just a team that has been through playoff wars or for the last however many years, whether it was going up against Miami, they've gone up against Milwaukee, 76ers. They're battle tested for sure. So won't disrespect them, won't count them out. But at the end of the day, I do feel like the Knicks will close it out here and should close it out at home in Game 6. I'm not going to do a full preview on what it would look like Knicks versus Pacers because we'll get there when we get there. But there's a lot of interesting storylines there, a lot of interesting sort of matchups to look at. But we'll go into that once this series is officially over. But looking forward to tonight. Looking forward to tonight's game. We'll see what we get from Karl Anthony Towns. We'll see if Bridges shows up. He kind of had a huge letdown in Game 6 in Game 5 after having such a big performance in Game 4. OG Anunoby has kind of been a ghost since Game 1. And the Knicks, if they want to get past the Celtics and if they want to try to, fulfill this dream of getting to an NBA Finals, they're going to need more consistent play out of both Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, particularly on the offensive end. They've both been pretty solid defensively, but they're going to need some more contributions from them offensively because it can't just be Brunson, ISO, live or die. I mean, late moments in the game, fourth quarter, clutch time, 100%. Like I'm of the belief that you put the ball in Brunson's hands and you live with what he does and live with the result because he's just been that good. But overall, from start to finish, my guy Flex said it yesterday, it is important for Jalen Brunson to get these guys involved early on, get them some looks, have a more sort of imaginative offense at the start of the game. It can't just be Brunson going one-on-one from the very beginning. So we'll see if Tibbs makes the adjustments. I know that the Celtics want to try to go 3-and-D, try to 3-and-D their way to a victory, but we shall see. We'll see what happens there. Couple of bets that I like in tonight's Game 6, Knicks versus Celtics. So my number one favorite bet right now in this Game 6 tonight is on DraftKings, race to 10 assists. I don't think anybody's getting 10 assists in this game. We've only had 2 double-digit assist performances in the series so far. One of them was last game with Jaylen Brown. And again, I think that was more circumstantial just because the Knicks were not really prepared to defend what the Celtics were going to bring to the table without Jason Tatum. But I do believe they'll make the adjustments. Plus, on the road, I just don't think that the Celtics shooters will have as prolific a performance. And I think the Knicks adjustments will do enough to keep Jaylen Brown well under double-digit assists. Plus, he's not a big assist guy anyway. I mean, I think his highest assist total before that was four assists, and he suddenly has 12 assists in game 5. I think that's an aberration. So, and the only other double-digit assist performance this series so far was Jalen Brunson in game 4, I believe. Yeah, in game 4. And that also I feel like was an outlier. Jalen Brunson hasn't really done the type of distributing in this series that I think Knicks fans would like him to do. Just like I just mentioned, he hasn't been getting these guys involved. Maybe he does pivot in a way and get guys more involved and get his assist totals up, but I just think that the Celtics in a elimination game are going to try to do as best they can to hold the rest of the Knicks from scoring, and it's going to be tough for Jalen Brunson to get up to 10 assists. So I don't think anybody gets to 10 assists in this game, and that you got to lay a little bit of juice. Is minus 190 right now in DraftKings, but I just feel like that's even laying the juice, I'm comfortable with it. And they also have race to 8 assists available for plus 290, almost 3-1. Again, I like that too because Jalen Brunson, aside from his 12 assist game, has not gotten to 8 assists in any game this series. I feel like you're really only looking at 2 guys to get to 8 assists. Who's it going to be? Will Brunson get to 8 assists? Will Jaylen Brown get to 8 assists? Aside from them two, I don't think anybody else even really has a legitimate shot to get to 8 assists. So I don't expect either of them to get there. So therefore, I don't expect anybody to get there. I think the highest assist total from either team could be somewhere between 5 and 7. I don't think anybody gets to 8. So that at almost 3-1, sign me up. I already put a little bet on it. Race to 8 assists, no player. That's my number one favorite bet on the board. And the rest of some of the other picks that I like Al Horford under 2.5 assists. Al Horford's minutes are getting reduced. And I think it'll be interesting to see how Joe Mazzulla plays him in this game because we obviously saw a lot of Luke Cornett in game 5. Is that going to be the adjustment that is made with Jason Tatum out? Are they going to try to go bigger and really lean into Luke Cornett? I'm not sure. But if that is the case, and even if it isn't the case, even if Al Horford still plays a healthy 35 minutes in this game, Al Horford at this stage in his career is not handling the ball a ton. He's not getting involved too much in offense, and when he is getting involved on the offensive end with the Celtics, is usually him getting a corner 3 opportunity, and it's either he shoots it or he doesn't. And when he does catch the ball, of all 5 on the floor, when he catches the ball, the Knicks are not trying to smother him or double him. They're happy with him shooting the ball. I think he's the person that they would prefer handling the ball because he's not a distributor. So I just don't see him having that kind of an impact again, especially on the road. I know 2.5 is a low number, but I just don't think the opportunities are going to be there for Horford. So I'm going to go for that one as well. I like Peyton Pritchard over 6.5 rebounds plus assists. Peyton Pritchard, for a little guy, surprisingly a feisty little rebounder, man. He gets a lot of he's gotten a lot of rebounds in the regular season. He's had a couple of 8 rebound games. And I just think he's going to play a healthy load of minutes without Tatum in there. I think he got almost 40 minutes in game 5. With his minutes uptake, I just feel like that number at 6.5 is way too low. So I'm taking Peyton Pritchard over 6.5 rebounds plus assists. I also do like Peyton Pritchard's individual rebound number. I think it's still at 3.5. I think he has a good chance to go over 3.5 rebounds. So those are some things to look at, but we won't go too crazy. Just the main ones that I already mentioned are the ones that I'm playing. But I really love that race to assist one. That's it for Knicks Celtics. We'll see how that game turns out. We'll see if the Celtics can force a game 7 or if we're going to be already looking ahead to a nice Eastern Conference Finals matchup between the Knicks and the Pacers. But we'll get there when we get there. And then the other thing we do have a game 7 in the second round. The Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder have really rescued the second round. Aside from the Knicks series, all the other second round series have been pretty busted. Only Nuggets and Oklahoma City Thunder has really given us a great series Watching the two MVP candidates go head to head has been great to watch. Some of it has been real ugly. They obviously had that hideous game that was, I forget what the final score was, but they had the historic low scoring first quarter. But I don't mind it. I like a good defensive struggle, and I'm just amazed at what the Nuggets have been able to do. It's just been crazy with such a short rotation. Russell Westbrook is such a Jekyll and Hyde player. As much as I love the guy, that last game last night, he was rough. He was a rough watch. But that doesn't mean he can't have a great game 7 in Oklahoma City, a place where he, despite having not played there for several years, is still beloved. He still always feels like he gets a little more energy when he plays on the road in Oklahoma City because of the way that the fans seem to respond to him. So I don't know. I have no picks for this game. I have no prediction for this game. I guess if I had to pick begrudgingly, I think that Oklahoma City can win just because I cannot understand how Denver continues to get through all of these long, grueling games with such a short rotation and all their guys playing, well into the 40-minute range. Jamal Murray came into the last game with an illness. They thought he might not play. He was questionable, and then he ends up playing, has a great game. Michael Porter Jr. is out there literally playing with one arm. It's crazy. I don't know how he keeps on playing and how they have not found a better alternative. I mean, the guys on the bench should be embarrassed, to be honest with you. The guys on the Denver bench should be embarrassed. Not that they can't get off the bench, but the fact that Michael Porter Jr. out there with literally one arm is something to have more confidence in than somebody coming off the bench. We did get a Julian Strother appearance. We had a brief Peyton Watson sighting, but besides that, they're not fucking with the bench at all. They rather have Michael Porter Jr. one-armed out there battling than dust off some of these bench characters that they have in Denver. That's something that they're definitely going to have to address in the offseason because as well as the starters have played in this series and in the previous series against the Los Angeles Clippers, it's really a shame that they don't have at least a handful of guys that they can throw out there for a couple of minutes to give Jokic and Murray and Aaron Gordon a little bit of a spell. Aaron Gordon, I think, tweaked his hamstring in the last game. It wasn't really brought up that much, but if, again, there's such a short rotation that any little illness, sickness, little hamstring pull, it all falls apart for Denver if they miss one of these guys. They're so heavily reliant on their starters. So that's the only reason I couldn't really pick them to get out of this. I couldn't even pick them to get past the Clippers. So I don't know, man. It's been amazing, sort of the championship grit that the Nugget starters have shown, especially after having their coach be fired. I thought that they were coming into this playoffs totally cooked, and they've totally proven me wrong. I've been super, super impressed. So I can't count them out of a game 7 on the road in Oklahoma City, but we'll see. It's going to be the young dogs. Can the young dogs dethrone the old championship pedigree team? I'm looking forward to it. Don't really have a pick. Don't really have any prop picks, but just excited to see a game 7 between two teams that have battled hard throughout the entire series. So that's going to be a good one to watch. We're getting some great NBA playoff basketball. I'm looking forward to the next round. Eastern and Western Conference Finals are going to be great. I think we're going to see Knicks Pacers. I total toss up for me as far as whether or not we're going to see OKC and Denver, OKC or Denver against Minnesota. But I actually think that Minnesota has a really good chance to come out of that series. And if we get a Minnesota and New York NBA Finals, that would be incredible. Given the storylines, given the trade that was made, Cat returning to play against Minnesota, Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, the other half of the Knicks trade. DiVincenzo get a chance to have a revenge game against the Villanova trio. Julius Randle get to have a little revenge game against the Knicks who discarded him. That would be crazy drama, but we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. We still got the second round to complete. We'll see if we get a game 7 in the East. We know we're getting a game 7 in the West. Both games definitely guaranteed to deliver. And I'm definitely guaranteed to deliver another ISO show once we know what the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals matchups are going to be. There will be another show as we kick off the WNBA this weekend. Basketball all around. It's a great time to be alive, baby. I'll see y'all later. 3 to the dome. Peace.